a Neanderthal. So toxic, but I can't get enough. You're burying me, burying me. Yeah, you're burying me, burying me. You've got me hypnotized. Push me out of myself. You've got me hypnotized. Whoa. I can see, I can hear, going crazy for the light. It's got me hypnotized. You've got me hypnotized. Get you out of my hand. Everyone is watching me when I'm coming around. They all are judging me when I'm lying on the ground. I've got no shelter, I've got no escape. My life is a prison and I can't run away. I feel it in my bones. I'm losing it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Taking Over. I am OLED Ed Fries, and down there is my wonderful tag team partner, the natural Astridpizarro. And we're here. We're 24 hours away from Heatwave. It's finally here. We're ready to go. But before we do that, we got to preview it and predict it. And we got a special guest. Ashley, would you like to introduce our special guest to tonight?
I was gonna say this is a social media queen, the positivity queen, as I like to call it. And I have to say this one, the Becky Lynch extraordinaire, and the host. What else do I say? I don't know at this point. Well, Stephanie Hypes, thank you for being with us here, Stephanie.
Thank you for having me. Dude, that intro rocked. That was I was over here jamming out. I'm like, okay, let's go.
Yes.
I love it. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Yes, we're glad to have you.
What have you thought about the build so far coming out of WrestleMania weekend, coming into Heatwave?
Oh, amazing. I mean, they're absolutely killing it in NXT. I was actually just on the Heatwave call, the media call yesterday, with Shawn Michaels. And I don't know, like, I'm just excited for NXT. I think they have a lot of talent. Anyone who knows me knows I'm a huge women's wrestling supporter. And so I just think they do an amazing job with their women talent and featuring them and making sure they're in storylines and consistently having them on TV. And I just think they've done a great job since WrestleMania, actually since Battleground, I should say, till now even. I'm excited for Heatwave. I think it's going to be great. I know most people are looking forward to Money in the Bank tomorrow. However, I think Sunday is going to be just as amazing.
Yeah. And speaking of the women, we might as well start there. We got a pre-show match this time. Announced so we all know that we get to sit down and watch the pre-show.
Yes.
They must be having bad numbers in the pre-show, so they wanted to have a pre-show match to make sure we all sat down and watched it. Arianna Grace is going to be joining Karmen Petrovic. Toronto Connection is going to be taking on Toxic Attraction. I still haven't come up with a good name for them. I've come up with a few. Astrid's nixed a couple of them that I've called them. So we're going to go with Jazmyn Nix and Jacy Jayne. Stephanie, what are you thinking about this match and this pre-show match here?
I mean, I'm excited for it. Karmen, I'm a huge fan of Karmen. And the fact that she gets to wrestle in her home country, I think is pretty awesome. If you follow her, she's been tweeting nonstop how excited she is to be performing in front of her home country. So I'm excited for her. And obviously Arianna Grace, she's fucking fantastic, man. She's so amazing. She's great. I love her whole character. I love her whole bit. The fact that she's like, I don't fight people for money. That's not my job. Like, it's all, you're a wrestler. Like, it's just amazing. I think she's great. And the pairing of them is even more hilarious because it's like water and oil, right? So it's hilarious to me. So, and I'm rooting for them. I want them to win. I love Jacy Jayne, and I love that Cody gave her his mask. I actually think she looks pretty badass in it, to be honest with you. I don't know if I like the pairing with her and I can't remember her name right now. Oh my gosh. Jazmyn, thank you. I don't know how I like it just yet. So to your point, Toxic Attraction. Yeah, it's a thing, but I'm rooting for Karmen and Arianna.
Astrid.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I'm really glad that Carmen's getting the spotlight. I feel like she's grown so much already, and obviously she's gonna keep growing even more. And I feel like one thing she has is that she has the crowd behind her too, and I feel like that helps a lot. Ariana, I mean, she's top notch. I mean, she got that from her father, and we're very glad to see that on screen. Every time I see her, I'm very glad I end up smiling. So
Yeah.
she's doing a great job with everything she's doing, even as a heel. I can't help it but smile and laugh when she's on screen. With Jazmyn and Jacy, just like I feel like they need a little something here, and I feel like they're missing it. What they're doing is just like it feels like it's missing one piece, and I don't even know what to call it or what it is. But it's definitely not the same as what Toxic Attraction used to be. Not even one bit,
They should have never
unfortunately.
broke up. They should have never broke them up. I still don't
No,
understand why they did
no,
that.
they
But
shouldn't.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Jayne. I think she's
Hmm.
immensely talented. I just feel like they have her a little lost in the sauce right now. Um, so I'm just trying to see where it's going. You know, obviously, again, she has the mask thing going on right now, and that either works for people or it doesn't work for people. So it's like, what's going to happen here? So we'll see. But I think Karmen and Ariana will take the W here.
Yeah, I definitely feel the same way because I just feel like I feel like Jacy and Jasmine don't have a direction aside from being bullies. There's no like storyline direction when it comes to it's like if they win, then really what next? What's next after that? I don't really see anything much for them aside from that.
Yeah.
And it's just the fact that I feel like they're missing. I feel like they don't have enough chemistry as a team so far, and they're just being bullies. And I'm like anybody could do that. Really, is the fact that you need a little something to be cohesive, and I feel like they don't have that. If that makes sense, but
Yeah.
I feel like it's more, especially being in their home country. I feel like Ariana and Karmen should win this one too.
Yes.
I agree with everything that everybody said. However, I think Jacy, Jayne, and Jazmyn are going to take this. For the sole focus is if Julia's not ready, I think that Jacy's next in line to challenge Roxanne. And I think that while Jazmyn will get the win here to help the team and just be on the team that gets the win, I think that they win because they're a cohesive unit versus Karmen, who has no idea why she's tag teaming with Ariana. By the way, I think is adorable. I love Ariana.
But I think those opposites attract thing really works in wrestling. Like it's one of the most entertaining things to watch. And you know, Karmen and her shing shing, as she likes to say, and Ariana, who doesn't think she's a wrestler or fights for a living. I don't know. I just think it's an amazing pairing. I think they could go someplace with this. So that's why I'm like, I kind of want to see where it goes. But to your point, I didn't think about that, about Julia possibly not being ready for Roxanne. So it is possible.
Yeah.
It is
I mean,
possible.
Arianna Grace, we can't also forget, yes, she got the talent from her father, but don't forget her aunt, Santina. Santina won a battle royal at WrestleMania 25.
Right. Right.
I mean, we all know what that was, but, just for shits and giggles, let's not forget about Santina.
Absolutely.
It was a different time. It was a different era. It was okay then. It was okay-ish then. It was
Correct.
more okay then than it is now.
Yes.
At the time, people laughed. At the time, people thought it was funny. We look back and go, it was bad. And Santino will even say, I probably shouldn't have done it.
Right.
But that's WWE's decision, and that's a Vince McMahon thing where he would have. I think Santino would have been happy losing that. Just having done the fun thing and been like, okay, I had my fun and get me out. And Vince is like, no, it's funnier if you win. And of course,
it was a very Vince call.
Absolutely. It's so nice to see the women treated well when it comes to Shawn and Triple H, how much he's trying to develop things. And like we've been talking about, NXT, 2 to 3 matches a week on a weekly basis, at least 2 or 3 things going on backstage. Everybody seems to have something to do week in and week out. And they continue to have these people who I call them unknown wrestler number 1455, because we see these random people coming in and out that are performance center talent that I just can't recognize on a weekly basis that they have back there. And then 3 weeks later, they're on Level Up.
Oh, yeah. No, they have a plethora of talent that are just loaded up, ready to go, which is kind of crazy if you really think about it. Like, we just had some amazing call-ups from NXT, and they're still fully loaded down there. So it's just like, Shawn's doing a great job of just keeping the wheel turning and making sure there's people constantly ready to take those top spots as people are moving to main roster. So I don't know. It's a good time to be an NXT fan.
Yeah. And as we move to the main card, I'm going to go ahead and I think this is probably going to be our opening match. Kelani Jordan versus Sol Ruca for the NXT Women's North American Championship. I would really wish they dropped this whole Lani thing. I'll be honest. I don't get it. I don't like it.
What? Drop it? What?
Yes, I don't. I'm a hater on the whole Lani thing. I like Kelani. I don't like Lani. It came out of nowhere. It confused me greatly.
That's her nickname, though.
I understand, but it was never. It was just something she dropped in the middle of like this promo package, and there's the 6 women all sitting in a row talking about the ladder match, and I'm like, the fuck is she talking about?
He's like, you did not teach me Lani. You taught me Kelani. So
yes, I'm like, we've called her Kelani for 6 months. Can we just keep doing that? I mean, Kalani's winning here. I mean, I'd love to see Sol Ruca with this championship, but I think for right now, you've got to keep this going where it is. I think the obvious destination when we get there is Jada Parker. I think Jada Parker is the next woman to hold this championship, and that shouldn't be too long. I don't mind Kelani having a few more PLEs, a few more months holding this championship, a few more defenses, but Jada Parker has everything she needs right now. Kalani's getting there, and I think the title's helping her get there. Mm-hmm. And I think that losing it and having had that chance and knowing that they believe in you and being like, okay, we're going to take this from you now for a little bit to give it back to you later on is something positive. But Jada Parker's a star, and she needs something to help elevate her continuously up that card. And I think the Women's North American Championship is her next target. But I think Kelani wins here against Sol Ruca.
Nice. Can I chime in?
Sure. Sorry.
Sorry. I was like, do you want me to go or ask? Okay. So one thing I love about NXT is the unpredictability. And honestly, WWE right now in general has a lot of unpredictability. But I have to say at Battleground, I don't remember anybody calling for Kelani to win this, like at all. And I'm a huge Kelani fan, but I thought for sure it was Mia Yim, Jada Parker, or Sol Ruca. Like I thought for sure it was gonna be one of them. So when Kelani won, I was shocked. I was excited. I was happy for her because I'm like, oh my God, I think this title has given her more confidence. And you see that in the way she's carrying herself, the way her promos are coming off. Like they're just, if you watch her before she had the title, while they were still good, she didn't have that confidence about her, like that glow, if you will, that a champion has. And so putting it on her, I do sometimes think in NXT, they do stuff like this to test people, just see how they do it, how they run with it and say, okay, we're going to make you champion. Let's see what you can do with it. And it's like, what? Because they see something in her, right? But they want to make sure she sees it for herself. And so I think this will be a great title defense for her. First title defense for her. To your point, I would love Sol Ruca to hold this title. I think she eventually will. I actually think Sol Ruca is probably going to skip this title, end up going to the main title scene. To be honest with you, for the NXT Women's Championship eventually. But I think Kelani will win it here. I think she will defend it. I think she will get a definitive win. Not like any antics or anything going on. Because I think a new champion, a new talent that is a new champion who's never held one really needs that definitive win right off the bat, right? So I think it will be a great match. Kelani, I think, is doing a great job so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of it afterwards. But yeah, as far as the future, it's either Lash Legend or Jada Parker that's taking this off of her. I think they're both ready. I think Jada Parker is a little further along than Lash as far as character work and in-ring work. But Lash has a great character that people really like to react to. So it's like, which way do they go? So it's very interesting. I like to see where they go with this. But for now, I think Kelani's doing a great job.
Astrid?
This one I was really torn about at first because I was thinking Sol has really grown a lot too. I feel like more than a lot of the girls. And it's like that's the reason why she was one of the people that I thought that would win the ladder match to begin with. So seeing this, I was like, I want to keep the title on Kalani, but at the same time, do you want to just just put that rocket onto Soul and just keep going with her like that? So
Right.
that's why I was mostly like torn about it. But I feel like definitely you should build the title up, kind of like they did with Rollins, have like a have challenger after challenger for a bit, to have Kalani like prove herself in that type of way and build herself up and build that legacy for that championship. Hence why I feel like she should have it for a few months and not
Yeah.
lose it anytime soon. Just kind of build that up and give it a good foundation. And I feel like that's what we need, and that's why I want her to retain the championship here.
Yeah, I agree.
But the fact that we can now have 2 women's championships on this brand and feel like there is a to use the word that was already used, plethora of challengers for both championships. Neither one feels like the divisions. They're not separate divisions, but at the same time, they're not lacking in any way, shape, or form on either side.
Nope.
I think that there's a plenty of people who can take on Roxanne or Lola, depending on the result of that match.
Yeah.
And there's still plenty of people left, women left, to go ahead and take care of this, that are of high enough talent and high enough, everything going for them that they can do it.
I think
these young. It's all right. I'm just shocked at some of the development of some of these younger women, like a Jada Parker. I mean, Kelani Jordan's getting there too, and it's like, it's so amazing to see them taking. I always call it the Tiffany Stratton line.
Yeah.
The first few times we see them, we're like, ooh, I don't know if this is going to be good. I don't know if they're ready. I don't know if they're TV ready. And then all of a sudden, every time they're in the ring, they're just jumping light years ahead of everybody else in front of them till they're undeniable stars.
Well, I do think that the veterans coming back and doing what they're doing is extremely helpful to that. You had Natty come back and I think give Lola Vice some confidence. She had confidence, but like once she started getting in the ring with Natty, I really think that helped her confidence elevate even more. You had Becky come back and fight both Tiffany Stratton, and she had the best matches of her life, and then come back and prop up Lyra. And now look at Lyra on main roster. It's like you can take people who have the talent, and as long as you match them with the right veteran, I do feel like that's helping them almost jump leaps ahead. So I hope the continuation of the veteran crossover into NXT continues, especially for the women's division. For whatever reason, I feel like it works even better for the women's division than it does the men's. And it's just, you can just tell like night and day, their confidence levels just rise after that. So I don't know. Great point about this being a new title. And I was thinking about it the other day. There were these rumors that when Julia comes, she'll be holding that NXT women's title for quite some time. So I think that's why they introduced this title, kind of knowing that's coming. So the women do have something to fight for and not just fighting Julia and losing, if that makes sense. So I think it was a great move on their part if they are planning on having Julia hold that title for a while. So
the other thing I was going to say, you mentioned about all the main roster women coming down. Who's the next that you would bring down to go ahead and have a couple matches with a couple people or a small run? Because to me, there's one.
Legion's doing amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry, to you, there's one name. What? Sorry.
That jumps out at me, and it's Tamina. I think letting Tamina stay there for a couple months. I think that there's, with Lash and with Jada, I think that there's some real good work. I talked about on Taking Over this week, Michelle McCool. I think that Michelle McCool could come down and really give.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
A little bit of help, especially to somebody like Izzy Dane.
If I saw Michelle McCool, dude, I would probably freak out. Like I want that woman back in wrestling so bad. Gosh, current talent on the main roster. Who's not? I would think, like, honestly, I would think someone like Naomi would help the talent down there, like, especially Lash and Jada and Jakari. Like, I just think she would do an amazing job with them, and kind of just showing them the ropes as Black women in wrestling. Like, you have to stand out differently, right? You guys are all Black women, but you all have to have different characters and whatever. And I think Naomi could be a great person to do that. I'm trying to think who else would I want to go down there. I'd like to see Sonya Deville go down there. Shotzi. I think Shotzi always does amazing when she shows up in NXT. She just shows out. Honestly, any of those women, Piper Niven. I kind of want to see Piper Niven go down there. I really think she could give Roxanne a run for her money for that championship and just be champion for a while if they need to fill in until Julia's healthy to come. I would kind of like. I'll go with that. I would say Piper Niven. I think would be one I'd be extremely excited to see back at NXT and just helping out those women. She's been in the game for so long. I think she has so much knowledge that she could give them, and some great matches she could really put out with some of these girls.
Astrid?
I was thinking in the roster in my mind and thinking of Izzy Dane because we were talking about her this week too. And I just thought about, like, I would love Charlotte to help out Izzy Dame. I feel like Charlotte's another lady that she carries herself like, obviously, like such a tall girl. I feel like she could help out Izzy Dame in that aspect as well. So I was like, I think that would be an interesting one because we saw her cashing in for NXT Women's Championship with Rhea, but I feel like we never really got her, kind of like what Becky did, but with Charlotte. I would like to see something along those lines of her, like maybe teaming up with one of the girls and thinking it was like, I'm gonna pick one of these girls to be my protege, sort of situation, and going behind her and building her up and getting her called up later on. Just like I think that would be something interesting. We don't really get anything like that with Charlotte, so I think somebody I will have in my mind will be Izzy for this. To be honest,
yeah, Charlotte didn't get that opportunity. I feel like last time they wanted her to go down there, be champion, kind of dominate, and again, that was under Vince, right? He's a huge Flair pusher, if you will. And so I don't think she had the opportunity to do as much mentoring as she probably would have liked to do. So I think, to your point, it'd be really cool to kind of see her take someone under her wing down there, kind of how Becky did with Lyra, and just kind of have these amazing matches with them, eventually put them over, and then when they get to main roster, they have that much more of a name for themselves. So you just beat Charlotte Flair, right? So I would like to see that too. I think that'd be a great one for her to get that chance to do that again.
And with the prohibitive portal, as Jordan Grace calls it, there's one more name that just came to mind as we're talking. Somebody who's been in the game forever and kind of done everything that she can where she is, and I wouldn't mind seeing her come into the PC and really teaching on mostly character work, because I think that there's a lot of character growth that can be done. What about Rosemary?
Say it again. Sorry.
Rosemary from TNA.
Oh, that would be cool.
I think that
you're saying one of the
work that she
people. Her, I would like to see Mickie James. I think would be really cool to just show up down there too. Like, that's the fun part about right now. Like, the possibilities are kind of endless. Obviously, unless you're talking about AEW and WWE, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon as far as crossovers. One day, it's wrestling. I never say never. So I'm hoping one day we get to a point where we can start doing a crossover with WWE and AEW. But the options are pretty endless right now, which is amazing. So we'll see. That would be awesome to get some TNA crossovers just to go help some of the younger talent over there from some veterans over there too.
Speaking of veterans and young talent, we've got the tag team titles on the line. We've got Andre Chase and Duke Hudson representing Chase U, taking on Astrid's favorite tag team in the entire world, Axiom. Nathan Frazer and Axiom. Astrid, can your boys figure this shit out and coexist long enough to hold on to their tag titles?
No, I don't see it. I don't like it. I think it's fun in social media though, seeing the back and forth between these two and the fans with Nathan's like, here's what's happening. It was like, I know you guys are talking about my partner and things like that. Like, it's just fun to see it. And now that he's had
tweet out to Seth, right? He just said, "Oh, I'll see you soon," or "I'll see you in the future," or something like that. And was like, "What about your tag team partner?" And he's calm down, like.
I just love his responses to it, though. He's very clever with that, and I love seeing it. It's like, I know why I know, leave me alone, kind of thing. But now that he's had this speed match with Xavier, he can focus on this, as he's saying. But I don't know. I feel like the back and forth of like the fact that we have Axiom concentrating on it and Nathan just focusing on anything else but this. Yeah, I have a feeling that it's definitely going to change hands. We do have the fact that I feel like in the way she'll perform, we're definitely gonna have Rich still come in. I feel like him like Andre Chase telling him he can't be there. It's not a thing that will really stop him from doing that. So I feel like either way he might still show up. You never know. But I feel like Chase is more united right now, and I feel like why not just give them those championships. And I feel like you can easily have Nathan versus Axiom going forward, and maybe Nathan getting called up sooner or later because I feel like one of them will. I feel like Nathan will be one that they will pick for do that, but you never know. They could do both. But I would do that. Just I have Nathan versus Axiom moving forward after this, and then you see what happens from there.
Stephanie?
I also have Chase U winning this one. I actually think Nathan is on his way to main roster here sooner rather than later. That he might maybe they feud. Nathan and Axiom feud against each other before all that happens. But I think him being quote unquote Seth Rollins' son, I think that he's destined to be on main roster. The man's amazing. Axiom's amazing. I think they both will end up on main roster within the next year or so here. Before that happens, though, I think Nathan is going to be headed towards that North American Championship. To be honest, on the singles run here, because I think he needs to hold some gold before he hits the main roster. So I think they're just going to break up this tag team basically and have their single runs and see how that goes. But I have Chase U here winning.
Yeah, I think it's pretty. I think it's a safer bet to go ahead and take Chase U. Along with the feud, I'd love to see hair versus mask just so we can get that damn mask Axiom. I mean, seeing a bald Nathan Frazer would be an interesting idea too, but mostly I just want the mask off Axiom. Bring back a kid, let him show off so that Astrid can stop thinking about the man behind the iron mask. But no, I mean, I love the fact that Chase U's just a side piece to the story of Nathan Frazer and Axiom.
Yeah,
and, Nathan Frazer just being too ambitious for his own good. I think you've done such a great job telling that story that you can't fall at the last hurdle. You need to make sure they lose this match. You need to make sure that Nathan's the one who gets pinned in this match to just enforce that so that Axiom has that much more reason to be angry and irritated that he didn't keep up his end of the bargain. But a nice feud between the two of them heading into both of them getting called up, both of them having singles runs. I could see a heel NXT champion taking on Nathan Frazer as a fun first challenger because they're kind of light when it comes to baby faces at the top of the roster. We talked about it with Trick and Ilya when they were going into it. We started listing the male roster and going, ooh, they're a bit thin at top baby face.
Yep.
After
outside of the tag team picture, absolutely.
Yeah. So I think breaking this tag team up does a really good job of getting them top name baby faces because I think, not to spoil the next pick, but after this weekend, we're going to have Wes Lee going up to the World Championship title picture too, because I don't think he's going to be in the North American title picture for some time to come. So, but yeah, I think there's a lot of good opportunities to be had, and I think that with a potential heel NXT champion coming, I think it'd be fun to start laying the groundwork for having some top-level baby faces. And having a Nathan Frazer and an Axiom in that role wouldn't necessarily be a bad idea.
Right. Yeah.
Rolling right into that. I'll start just because it's pretty easy. I love Femi. He's my boy. Femi's winning this match because there's no reason to take this title off this beautiful man. He is everything, and I say this every time we talk about him. He is everything WWE wanted Omos to be. He's big. He's essentially a brick wall. He can talk. The fans adore him. He creates this massive image in people's minds. Like the ability to use him to strictly cast a shadow on Wesley during that video package this week on NXT was perfection.
Yeah.
He's done everything he needs to do. I don't know how he's as polished as he is on the mic and in the ring as he can be, considering the lack of training he had coming into this.
Right.
But he's a savant on it. I I'd rather have him as the world champion, but he's got the North American title. And let's just let him stay there and keep having great matches with all these little guys because he's fantastic.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just a quick little story. When I was leaving WrestleMania, I was in the airport. I was flying home, but we're flying to LA first and then home. But the flight across from ours was to Orlando. And so all the NXTers were actually across from us, which I didn't realize at first. I was in the Starbucks line. And I just got my coffee and I look over and I see Oba Femi and the family, the Italian guy. Tony, thank you. In line. And so I turned around really quickly, like with my drink, and they were like right there in the corner of the line. And I kind of locked eyes with him and I was like, holy shit. I was like, you're Oba Femi. And he's like, yeah, and I look over and Tony's there, and I was like, great job, you guys, good job this weekend or whatever. And they were like, thank you, and I just kept moving with my coffee. And everyone's like, oh, you get a picture with them? I'm like, don't bother wrestlers in the airport. I'm like, do you like being bothered in the airport? Probably not. Like most people look like shit when they're in the airport. Leave people alone. Like no one wants to be bothered in the airport. So anyway, but two of the nicest guys, like he has the best smile. Like he's probably a gentle giant, but the way that you're able to book this man, like he is an unstoppable force, is amazing. He's going to be absolute money when he gets to main roster, as long as they know how to book him. To your point, he's not dropping this title. He has no reason to drop this title. I think he's doing great. I think a lot of people want Wesley to get it back just because, of the way that he lost it. Getting injured and everything like that. So, and I do too. Do not get me wrong. I love Wesley. He's one of the most talented people in NXT overall. But he can move on to the main roster, not the main roster, the world title picture in NXT against Trick. Yeah. My pick for this one is Oba Femi.
Astrid.
This is another one that I know Oba Femi's winning, but in my heart, I'm still torn about it because I still did want Wesley to win back that championship. But at this point, it feels like after this match, I feel like they could shake hands and Wesley can go out of the North American title picture proudly that he built a great foundation for this championship. And I think this is what the story moving forward could be, of him just saying, yeah, I built a legacy that somebody else will carry on kind of situation, but I have to build again another new legacy now with the NXT championship when he goes over to the world title picture. And I definitely would like to see him getting highlighted in that sort of way. And I feel if we do end up with a heel champion, I feel like he will be another great challenger for whoever it is too. And it's just like Wesley's amazing no matter where you put him. I feel whether he's in tag team singles, it's just nice to see that. So I feel like the man I just want you to highlight him as much as possible, especially now that he has returned, no matter how you do it. So I'm just glad that if he does go to the world title picture, I feel like he'll be highlighted even more than what he used to be with the North American. And again, this is just a man that I feel like he doesn't have a lot of time left in NXT. So take advantage of him while you can, to be honest.
And just to talk about the match quality, I feel like this match is going to be absolutely insane. Like Wesley is such a great worker in the ring. And I just love when you pair an amazing ring worker with a big guy who can also work the ring. I think this match is going to probably be the dark horse match of the night, to be honest with you. I'm looking forward to this one.
I think it's going to be match of the night, period. I don't think there needs to be any I like both the men's and the women's championship matches. I think they're going to be just fine. But this is the only match on the card that I look at and I go, yes, this has the ability to be 4, 4.5, 5 stars if done right. Mm-hmm. I think the idea of Wesley getting tossed around like a couch that Oba Femi was throwing in his initial promos is a perfectly fine way to just put Oba Femi over. I think it's going to be fantastic. Coming back from one of the most, we'll say, divisive as far as reactions on NXT segments in the last, I want to say at least year or two, Roxanne Perez versus Lola Vice. Stephanie, we were a bit harsh on this segment, and people online.
I think
What did you think of this segment on Tuesday night?
it was very awkward. I have to be honest. Like a lot of people, including myself, when the call ups happened during the draft, I was very confused why Roxanne wasn't called up. Because she is probably in the top 10 of most talented WWE women, period. At least like in this current time. So I really understand it, but I do see every now and then that she needs some help with delivering on the mic, because you have to be able to deliver against no matter who's standing across from you. You have to be able to improvise, if you will. And so Lola's not the best on the mic yet. And so it's like it was very awkward, guys. Like I remember I was just like kind of sitting there watching it and I'm just like, okay. I'm like, anyone else feel like they should go somewhere else? Yeah, no, it was not. Hello. It was not good. So yeah. Sorry, my phone just rang, and so I'm like, hello.
The word I used for this segment was train wreck.
Yeah. I'm trying to be positive, guys. See,
I
can't.
Positivity queen. See,
I can't. I don't want to drag my girls because here's the thing. This is how I look at things. I can't do it. Okay, you can't put me in the ring with a mic. I would sit there and go. So I always give people props because I'm like, what they're doing is hard. So I try not to drag them, but it was very awkward and yeah. Go on.
No, I agree with all that. I would love nothing more than for Lola Vice to succeed. But in the ring, on the mic, she's not proven to me that she has the things she needs to be the success that they want her to be.
But she can shake her hips.
That's great. Then she should go be a dancer for the Miami Heat. We've seen that work for people before. Join Samir and be a belly dancer. Samir. Great. But no, I love Roxanne Perez, but this heel turn, I still don't buy it. I still don't think it's working for her. I think she needs to go back to being a babyface.
I think she's doing great when she's across from the right people, and that's what I mean by like her across from Jordan Grace, perfection. But that's because it's Jordan Grace, right? Like she brings it out of people, so it's like it's almost like she needs that really good babyface / antagonizer, and if she doesn't have that, it kind of falls flat. And so it's kind of like she has to be able to do that, though, again, no matter who you're across from. So I kind of understand to a point why they kept her back. Obviously, also to be the face of NXT right now, the women's division, but also there are little things that she needs work on, because I'm afraid if she goes up to main roster, put her across from a Carmella, a Charlotte Flair, a Bianca Belair, they're going to eat her alive on the mic. And so it's like, she has to gain that confidence, I feel like, no matter what. So, no, you're spot on. I like the heel turn. It just needs a little something, and I think it's confidence, more confidence.
However, I do believe that Roxanne wins this match because, let's be honest, when Julia comes, and I'm hoping it's at Heatwave, because Roxanne continues to say the phrase, and she says this exact phrase every time. There's nobody that can beat me.
She's saying it on purpose.
Yeah, she's going to get on the mic at the end of this match. There's nobody in the world that can beat me. Boom, cue the music.
And I mean, even if she's not clear, Julia can still show up.
Yeah.
Just stand there and stare at her. They have a stare off, whatever. And then she can go away. And then people are like, holy crap, when's she coming back? And it could be weeks, a month, whatever it might be, but people know it's coming. It's almost like a teaser. Like, she's there. She's showing up. She's now showing up. When is she coming back? When is this happening? And you can kind of have Roxanne going a little crazy and paranoid. Like, who is this that just showed up? Where's she at? What's going on? And just kind of have Ava toying with her for a couple weeks or a month, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know, but we have to find you a challenger in the meantime, right? So it's like they could really have some fun with this. I'm kind of hoping she still shows up at Heatwave, even if she's not cleared, for another month or so. So
Yeah, because the match isn't going to be anytime soon, and
no,
that's
it'll
fine.
probably be a Mania weekend or something like that. When they do their takeover, would be my guess.
SummerSlam.
But you think it's gonna be SummerSlam?
I don't think they're going to push it all the way to Mania. I think it'll be much sooner rather than later.
I forgot what they said Julia's recovery time is. Was it like 2 months?
Julia's booked for a match next week. Julia's still.
I thought they were postponing all that. They're not.
Last I knew. Hold on, let me just double check.
Yeah, so last time I checked, no.
I'm going to go ahead and fact check.
Oh well, if she's ready to go, like, never mind. Let's get this done. Like.
No, but I thought along the same lines as that. Even I think it was like 2 weeks ago. I said that visually, the fact that we could have Roxanne win over Lola and say that phrase again, like nobody in the world can beat me. Turn off the lights, cue that music, and we still get Julia there. But I feel like we could do this in the way that the next week Roxanne could go to Ava's office, like, where is she? Where is she? I know she's coming after me. Like, where is she? Kind of make her like more like shaky in a way of like she doesn't know when Julia's coming, and then have everybody be like, well, she showed up, but I don't know when she's coming back, so be ready. And then have Roxanne every week, kind of maybe even she wins with the opponents, still have her be shaky of like, where is she? She's like behind me, kind of like she's like my shadow, like she's coming back soon. And I feel like that will make like kind of Roxanne give a little bit of a different edge to her character that we haven't seen, and that way you can kind of see her not only be confident as a heel, but like in character you can have her like lose confidence when she looks a little bit shaky at the same time. So I feel like that will be interesting for her to see, because so far we've seen her very confident in her being a champion, but I would like to have her be like shaky, like she doesn't know she's gonna lose the championship now because of Julia, and then be like every time something's happening she thinks Julia's coming and she doesn't come, so she's like, where is she? Where is she? I want her now, kind of thing.
I want it to be. I want Julia's debut to be mysterious, and I mean that in the fact, like, okay, so say she shows up at Heatwave, right? There's a good chunk of the audience who has no clue who Julia is, right? They're not diehards like us. They're not watching all the types of wrestling. They might tune into WWE main roster stuff. They might not really tune into NXT as all, whatever. So I want them to slowly introduce her. And what I mean by that is, like, if she debuts at Heatwave, I want Roxanne to look confused. Like, who are you? Who is this? What is going on? Right? Because Julia appeared in the audience during NXT TakeOver during WrestleMania weekend. And they put her name on the thing and they shot this huge ovation, and you see Julia's face like, what? Me? Like, right? Like she was shocked. Yeah. But Roxanne never acknowledged that she was there. Roxanne never turned and looked at her. Roxanne never said anything. So I want her to come off so cocky and like, oh, this is the big leads. I don't know who you are. Like, I want her to act like that. Like, I don't know who this is. And just have people maybe throughout the time warning her, like, this girl's a big deal. Like, you need to check yourself. And Roxanne's kind of like, I'm not worried about her. Like, I don't know where she's from. I don't care. Like, I want her to be so cocky about it. Yet on the other end of it, be paranoid because she doesn't know who this is. People are warning her about her, right? And she's just kind of like, okay, when's she coming back? Where's she at? So I just think it'd be really cool to add, again, a level of mystery to Julia for people who don't know who she is. And they're kind of learning along with Roxanne how badass she is. So I think that'd be really cool way to go about it. Do they just start with a vignette instead of her actually appearing at Heatwave? Where, you know, she's talking in Japanese and just says some badass shit to her. And you're like, whose voice is that? Like, and it just slowly like kind of shows you who it is. I don't know. There's a lot of fun ways to go about this. Depending on when they want to do this match. Is SummerSlam the next pay-per-view?
Yes.
It is, right? So they have a little less than a month to build it if this is happening SummerSlam weekend. So it's like
there is no event announced for SummerSlam weekend. So this
for NXT, right?
Yeah, for NXT. This may be sometime mid-August in between SummerSlam and Bash in Berlin.
Okay. Yeah, and they didn't say anything on the media call yesterday, so I'm really wondering when or how this is going to happen. So we will see. But yeah, I think Roxanne's obviously retaining. She's not dropping this, especially not to Lola Vice. And it should be an interesting match. I'm kind of curious to see how it goes. But yeah, Roxanne will retain.
Wrestling News Net has a story posted today that says that Marigold is expecting Julia versus Sari to still main event for their championship on July 13th. So
all right.
As of right now, the match seems to still be there. Remember, if you get a chance, Wrestle Universe, go ahead and check that out because WWE's Io Shirai will also be on that show.
Yes.
So, well, sorry, not Io Shirai, Io Sky.
Io Sky. We knew what you meant. It's fine. It's fine.
We move on to what I expect to be the main event, especially if Julia's not in the building. Fatal 4-way for the NXT Championship.
Yeah, so just real quick.
Yeah.
If Julia is there, do they automatically make that the main event just for that debut? Because I feel like it's a big deal, and it should be the ending, closing shot, if you will.
Yeah,
I don't know. Now that you say that,
if she's there in person, yes. If she's there via satellite, no.
Yeah, I was like, if it's a vignette or something or a teaser, no.
Yeah, okay. If Peter comes out and says, your next challenger is, and she points to the screen, and we get a promo from Julia in both Japanese and then in English.
Yeah. And
I think that's probably semi-main. If Julia's going to come walk out and stare her down, then I think that they main event with that because that's your closing shot.
That needs to be your closing shot. Because I don't think Trick Williams is dropping this title, so I think that needs to be the closing shot for sure.
I have a little fantasy booking about that one.
Oh,
we're in Toronto. I have the idea that the prohibited portal will open one more time because we've had women come through the portal, but we've had Joe Hendry, but Joe Hendry's special.
Hey, and Kaz, excuse me.
Kaz.
Excuse me. Put some respect on Kaz's name right now. Kaz did it too.
No, he's fine. He was only there because Joe Hendry was there. That's the only reason why.
It doesn't matter. He was still there too.
But I have the idea that Ethan Page wins the NXT Championship, shuts up his haters, goes, look, like Ashford said the other night, I couldn't beat Trick one-on-one, but now I had 3 opponents and I beat all of them. And as soon as he's on the mic, going ahead and running his mouth, all of a sudden we get some kind of weird music, and out comes Josh Alexander.
Weird music.
I don't know, like something like mysterious music before you hit Josh's.
Yeah.
I don't want Josh's music to hit like just by itself.
Right.
I want there to be something in between.
Okay.
To make Ethan be like, what's going on? And then have Josh's music because he knows what Josh Alexander's music is.
Correct.
Or hell, play the old the North's theme, so it really confuses Ethan Page. But I think Ethan Page's first challenger being Josh Alexander would be a whole lot of fun, and it would be a way to get TNA some much needed press. They should have main evented when they had Jordan Grace here, and they did. And I'm like, well, Ethan Page versus Josh Alexander would be a hell of a match.
Yeah.
I think that could main event a couple things. I think Ethan Page wins this because, honestly, Trick's better as a chaser than he is a champion anyways.
Interesting.
And I think it'd be fun to let the Toronto guy go over in his hometown.
Interesting. Well, it's weird, too, because they've been propping up Javon Evans like crazy in media. Like, talking him up every which direction. And so I'm like, okay, are they talking him up because he's losing? Or are they talking him up because they're like, you need to believe that he's going to be champion? I don't think he's winning per se, but I think they're definitely trying to get behind him in that way so he eventually can be. I have Trick retaining here. I don't think Trick is really over. And so they do watch that. That's big for NXT. I don't think Ethan Page takes it. I don't think, to your point, I think they have other plans for him. So I don't think he ends up taking it. I think Trick will retain here. It's just good to see Shawn Spears in a match. To be honest, a title match. So I'm kind of excited for that too. So this is very interesting. So the dynamics in this match, as far as match quality, like, can be honestly off the rails here. Because Trick being probably the most green, or no, the most green of the three, in the sense of in-ring work. The other three are going to be bouncing all around him basically. So he's there to anchor. But I don't know. This this is another one I think has potential to be match of the night if it's executed properly. So we'll see. But I think Trick retains.
Astrid.
I feel like this is I'm being a multi-person match. I like to always do two choices. So I would say my number one is definitely Ethan. I definitely want him to like finally win that championship and just come out and
He
be
just got
even more.
here.
I don't care. He deserves. I feel like it will be a good spotlight for him, and I feel like it will be shockwaves to the point of like the people that love Trick will be very shocked to have Ethan win this, and the fact that like I mentioned it like before is like yeah, Trick is better when he's chasing the championship too, and I feel like having a heel as a champion will be better for a lot of the guys coming in here, and I feel like Ethan's one of those people that has that experience against most of the guys in NXT, and I feel like that could blend really well. But my second choice is definitely Trick retaining. I feel like Javon is still very young and still new to it in that aspect. So I feel like they're kind of training him in a way to like
Yeah.
get used to this to become champion eventually. So I think that's what they're doing with him in here. Shawn, I'm like, I love that he's here, but I don't see him winning this at all, to be honest. I feel like it's just to mix up and give him a little something. He's being one of the veterans here, but I feel like Ethan's my number one choice here. I would love to end if they end the show with this, then end the show with him winning that championship and finally win his first singles championship, and just show him off that way and give him more of a. I mean, I have that all ego because I did this by myself like this, and if the prohibited portal opens, even better. I would love to see him with like against so many other people. Or just like I want to see more for him, and I feel like this is the way of doing this because I know we had the thing with Oro, but aside from that, I really don't see much for Ethan at the moment. So he's definitely my number one pick. I want my guy to win this.
Interesting.
And we all have to respect and
cook.
praise Chef Shawn for cooking up another great premium live event here.
Did you see my comment that I brought it up on the media call yesterday? I was like, I love your profile picture, and he just starts cracking up. And he's like, yeah, he's like, I thank Jordan Grace for the hat. And he's like, my social media team's been having a lot of fun. He's like, I'll admit, he's like, I've also been having a lot of fun with it. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, no, I totally brought it up after my question to him. I was like, and by the way, I was like, love your profile picture. And he's like, he starts laughing. But yeah, no, he's doing a great job. And the talent that I know it's not just him, there's a team, but the talent he's bringing on and recruiting and just having that eye for stars, man, like that has to be hard, right? But that's what I love about NXT. You can give people a try, and sometimes they work out and sometimes they don't. And some people excel very quickly, i.e. Tiffany Stratton, Lyra Valkyria. And so I don't know. I really am enjoying NXT, and the fact that they've beat AEW in ratings a couple different times for Dynamite, which is actually insane to me, because Dynamite is the flagship show. NXT is just NXT. But they are doing some amazing things down there, so it's actually really cool to see.
We're going to go ahead and give you the big screen so you can talk about the things you've been doing this week and prep for Money in the Bank. And do you not want the big screen?
Oh no, let me get my just kidding. No, so I have been doing some Money in the Bank prediction shows and stuff with John, which is now available. You can actually go to my Twitter and see that we posted that. I'm here with the lovely people. I'm here with you guys. It's just amazing. I'm so excited. Doing my NXT Heatwave prediction as well. And then you can just catch me online. I will be at SummerSlam doing media coverage as well. So catch me in Cleveland if you're there. I've never been to Cleveland. I have no clue what's there or what's going on. I heard there's not much to do in Cleveland, to be honest. So it should be interesting. But I will be there doing some media coverage and stuff like that for SummerSlam. So I'm actually very excited about that. And yeah, catch me on socials at Stephanie Hypes. And I will be doing the SmackDown post show this Friday on Body Slam Net. Know Your Role right after SmackDown.
Yes. And there's a bunch of things to do in Cleveland. You got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
That's it. That's all anyone ever says. They're like, at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'm like, well, obviously, I plan on doing that.
I think the NBA Hall of Fame is out there too.
The what?
NBA Hall of Fame, I believe, is out.
It is not. I looked it up. It's in some other random town, Minnesota or something. It's in the most random place that you would never think the NBA Hall of Fame would be at.
Well, Cleveland rocks. It's still fine.
Maybe Drew Carey's there. Who knows?
Yeah, Drew Carey will probably be at SummerSlam. I'm sure Kimmy Sokol will be there doing some convention for something.
I'm
Go
sure.
hang out with her.
I feel like they need to, right? Like it's a must.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Asher, what do you got coming up this week? Well, what do we have coming up this week?
Yeah, I'm about to say. Well, we do have Joe Carney of the Ankle podcast with the post show for Heatwave, so very excited about that. We to be working with new people. It's always exciting to be working with the people that I know from social media and like, making connections in that sort of way. And then again on Tuesday doing NXT with this one right here. But nothing much aside from that. But hopefully more interviews coming soon. Just been working a lot, so I'm trying to always rest at the same time. But aside from that, you can find me on my Twitter, Blue Sky as astridpizarro, Instagram and Threads astridpizarro20, and everything else on past interviews, latest session showcase. You can find that on my YouTube channel, just Astrid Pizarro as well. And if you scan the QR code, you can go for your wear and get my t-shirt that Mel and Mike are modeling right there as well. And if you scan that QR code, you can shop at the V Shop with my affiliate code as well.
Yes. And of course, you can find me on Twitter at edfries12584. Find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/edfries2002, where I do some of my gaming content. You can catch me, like Ashford said, this weekend on Sunday night, and we'll be back on Tuesday. Also, next Wednesday we've got Marvel Talk coming back. We're going to be doing Age of Ultron's MCU Rebound episode. So we'll be sitting there talking all about Marvel's Age of Ultron, Josh Whedon led. All kinds of good stuff we got coming on for that. So make sure you catch that. Make sure you're here for all of the wonderful coverage for our local establishment later on tonight as we go ahead and have the Money in the Bank coverage. So you can go ahead and catch that with Kimmy Sokol, Mark Talks Wrestling, Auntie Collins, and of course Bobby Munson will be anchoring that coverage. God forbid, poor Bobby Munson. All those people, all those buttons. He's going to have a bunch of fun. But for these two lovely ladies, I've been OLED Ed Fries. We will catch you next time. Goodbye.